Hey, this is Jeff, and welcome back to the Coito Ergo Sum DLC crossover. Couple things I forgot last week. First, I got blindsided by an unexpected wrinkle in Borous' loyalty mission, and I didn't talk to him about his magazines. I also wanted to mention that the display case gives you a slightly different hint depending on what order you get the clues. We saw X8 first, so it said finding a hard copy and reading the interview might give us some insight into Borous' thought process. If you get the hard copy from Higgs Village first, you don't know who Betsy was, so it gives you a hint to do his other mission, which leads to X8. I could have made it a full quest with map markers and all that, but it just felt like the kind of thing that'd be more satisfying if you figure it out yourself. Anyway, here's the man of the hour.
Have you come for hello? Oh, I'll give you a hello. A hello unsurpassed in all creation. The lobotomite returns. What insidious plan can it have brewing in its horrid mind? What commie anti-American propaganda will it spew?
Quite the reverse. I want to talk about legitimate, objective journalism. I run Lollipops magazine now, and I think I know why you feel nostalgic about the pre-war version.
What? Submit no crackpot theories.
I think I mentioned before that you can talk to him about the display anytime after you've seen it, but he'll clam up if you don't have the other two clues. This is where he'd end the conversation if you never heard his monologue in X8, but we did. I'm serious. How else would I know that your high school crush grew up to be a nude model?
No! Such pain as I've never experienced!
He shuts you down here if you haven't found the hard copy in Higgs Village yet, but we did. Would it help to know that her surviving interviews don't mention Richie Marcus at all?
Indeed, it is odd.
But she liked Larry Slater. In the end, she learned to appreciate prominent intellectuals.
If so, it was in the past. Yes, it makes perfect sense.
But my archives are badly deteriorated. If only some well-preserved photos of her had survived.
Why, yes. Look at these.
Thanks. I'm just going to take this back to my room and read it.
Until next time, then.
I got a super rare Mojave snow globe here. All you gotta do is reach down into my bread slot.
Nice try. Anyway. The magazine itself isn't readable. It's no different from other vintage Lollipops magazines, except it's a lot more valuable because of its condition. More importantly, it'll look nice on my bookshelf in Pahrump. It's also worth noting that you can't use the sonic emitter on the display case to get the magazine while the pacification field is active. Hypothetically, if we found some way to circumvent that, we'd be able to get it without talking to Borous at all. Next up, I got a bit distracted with the toaster last week and forgot to install the upgrade for light switch 1 that we found in X12.
How can I illuminate you?
Can you turn those lights on for me now?
I certainly can.
The smart lights buff intelligence by 2, repair and science by 5 for 12 hours. Courier Jeff already has all 3 of those maxed, so they won't do anything for him. Let's see what they look like. No, I don't think so. Green in this game says radiation hazard, and I don't know if they make the toaster smarter, but I'm not risking it.
How can I illuminate you?
Lights.
I certainly can.
Standard lighting, please. Much better.
The toaster. Beware the toaster. If it could, it would burn the world.
Preach into the choir, Muggy. And finally, this isn't really something I forgot, but I said I was going to put the superheated power fist in the souvenir case until my unarmed skill gets a bit higher. But even with unarmed 50, it has DPS of 83, which is already better than half my guns. I prefer not to be that close, but if we run out of ammo or we end up in another situation like the Cuckoo's Nest, this is a pretty solid backup. And it's only going to get better as we level up, which is why I'm taking the toaster a little more seriously. Now, I had to think about where to go next, and it occurred to me that I kind of already settled into a new strategy without realizing it. I gave up doing the entire map in one direction several episodes ago. All that matters is that we work our way in from the edges of the steadily shrinking wedge of unexplored territory so I don't miss anything. And since I'm putting off collecting schematics for Klein, I want to do X13 last, or close to last. After we do that, we'll still need to make one more trip back to X8, because the key we need to finish that is in X13. We could pick up where we left off last week, going clockwise from the Cuckoo's Nest, but then when we get to X13, there'd still be a few places we haven't seen in the northwest. I think it makes sense to clear the wedge between 11 o'clock and 9 o'clock first, then go back down to the Cuckoo's Nest and work our way around clockwise to X13. We saw a map marker on our compass for this area when we were at the meteorology station. It didn't look like there was any direct way up to it from the floor of the canyon, but we might be able to get there from the roof. Worth a shot. Hello. Looks like the Gutsies respawned.
Kill them all. God will understand.
Any more? Doesn't look like it. I don't know. The opera singer sample does a lot more damage, but the stun on crit effect of Revelation was awesome. Not that it would have helped much there because I wasn't sneaking. I still get a lot of crits with this build, but the automatic stun on sneak attack is just lethal. There's something up here too. Looks like a trauma harness. More than one, apparently. Gauss rifle. This was one of my favorite weapons in Fallout 3, but they nerfed it in New Vegas. It's still not bad, but in Fallout 3 it had a knockdown on crit effect, kind of like Revelation, in fact. But it had a crazy high crit chance multiplier, so a build like this, I'd be scoring crits almost non-stop. And the laser RCW, I'm never going to use that. It's useless against enemies with decent armor, and I have better options for the ones who don't. Leave it. I thought there was one more. What do you have? Another Gauss rifle? Tesla cannon. I won't be using that either. Mostly because it takes up half the screen when you have it equipped. But I can use it to repair Elijah's without spending money. Now, I think we can get up here somewhere. Almost. Got it. Now, what do we have up here? I think it's a construction site. If there's any lore about what they were building, I don't remember what it is. Probably another lab of some type. The game almost certainly expects us to be coming in from the internment camp, so we should be able to get the drop on whatever's in there. I don't see any red on the compass. It might even be one of those places that spawns enemies in to ambush you, in which case coming from this direction would definitely give us an edge. Yes, construction site. Hey, there's a holotape. The upgrade that lets the sink recycle empty bottles into purified water. Might have been nice to have this sooner, but I still have a few bottles left from what was in the fridge, so I'd say it was just in time. You know there's no way I'm not climbing this crane, right? Now, how do we get up there? Close, but around the other side, maybe? Yes, stairs. Much easier. Now I see red on the map. Get up here and do a little sniping, maybe. What is it? Looks like maybe... yeah, sentry bots. I can't tell if that's doing anything. They're not reacting, and I'm still hidden. The projectile from the sonic emitter is so big that if you're firing from cover, sometimes it hits the edge of whatever you're hiding behind and doesn't go anywhere. Get out the infield with armor-piercing rounds. 5 left, and this is the kind of thing I was saving them for. It wasn't damaged, so the sonic emitter wasn't hitting. Out. If I hadn't missed once, that would have been just enough. Regular 308 should be good enough to finish it off. Yep. Looks like we have some goodies up here. Valence radii accentuator. And some plasma grenades. I'll take it. And this looks like an excellent place for some recon. That was presumably the command center. I see some containers, ammo box, filing cabinets. Don't see any prisoners in the camp. Guard tower, more ammo boxes. Christine said they were ghouls, so we know some could still be alive. I'm not going to check every crate I saw from up there, but the big stack of them. Ooh, 308. More 308. Okay, maybe I will find them all. Uh-huh. I suspected as much. There must be a trigger zone near the entrance that spawns in the enemies, so the place was empty when we came up the back way, but I triggered it when I was looting crates. So what are they? They look like protectrons with a different paint job.
Hostile target detected. Please take cover until the danger has been eliminated.
Construction drone foreman.
Hostile target.
You have insulted my honor, and for that, you must...
And a crazed Mr. Handy. Construction drone. Yeah, this is exactly what the sonic emitter is good at. Somewhere around here I saw, yeah, fallen pylon. Zero had an intercom announcement about this a few episodes back, but I didn't know or didn't remember there actually is one. But unsurprisingly, you can't actually get out. The fields of the two adjacent ones still overlap, so there's no gap. I guess Kakata and I won't be escaping that way. There's the internment camp. And presumably some escapees. Bone saw, odd choice for a jailbreak. Ashtray. The guards confiscated my cigarettes, but as soon as I find some. And here's the command post. Still don't see any prisoners. Probably another place where they spawn in when you enter a trigger zone. And over here we have... Steady. Oh, yes, all the 308. And I can't pretend I didn't know this was here. Christine's Circle of Steel silencer rifle, which if I recall correctly is pretty damn good. Damage per shot 56, about the same as the Enfield. Damage per second 125, which is much better. And it's not even in full condition. And bonus crit damage, and bonus crit chance, and it's silenced, so you can sometimes get multiple sneak attacks. That's not just pretty damn good, that's made for Courier Jeff, who might have felt compelled to return it to its original owner if he had it when we met her, but sadly we can't return to the Sierra Madre, so I guess he'll just have to keep it. Zero said they sent robots to deal with an intruder who was experimenting with bomb collars in the internment camp, and he sliced through them with a souped-up laser gun like they were paper. Christine's log said she tracked Elijah here, and she was going to take him out, but he released ghouls with bomb collars into the fray, which is how he escaped to Signal Hills, and she got taken to Y-17 by trauma harnesses that found her unconscious. Which I was going to say, it's kind of unfair that they never take me to get medical aid. They just keep shooting at me. But the Brotherhood of Steel is a distant offshoot of the U.S. Army, so maybe they recognized her recon armor. Anyway, here's Elijah's advanced lair, presumably one he found somewhere in Big Mountain and modified, as that was his specialty. It's in terrible condition. Still has a DPS of 124, so souped-up laser gun is an understatement. I'll get it repaired when we go back to the sink and see just how ridiculous it is, but Christine's rifle is much more in Courier Jeff's wheelhouse. Dead Yangtze camp survivor. The jumpsuit's a DLC item. Take that. Deactivated bomb collar. Can you wear that? No. I guess it's just a miscellaneous item. Yes. Still, it's a souvenir. And a broken detonator. Sure. As Elijah said in his journal, it took a lot of tinkering to get control of the collars, which he eventually used to coerce his victims into helping him break into the casino. Is that? Yes, holotape. Bookshoot upgrade. That'll let the bookshoot recycle pencils and clipboards in addition to books. And some mugs for Muggy. There's a poster here for the Sierra Madre. Not surprising, since we already knew many of the technologies there were developed here. And a terminal. Little Yangtze log terminal. Yeah, the first three are pre-war and just confirm they were starting to use prisoners as test subjects. But Elijah Day 2 talks about trying to figure out how to take control of the bomb collars. Day 3, no sign of that courier from before. He stays out of my way, I'll stay out of his. Been thinking about that Sierra Madre he mentioned. If he's right, I just need to find the casino radio frequency to track it down. Wouldn't need his help. If the working holograms and toxic gas are preserved there, might be easier to study him there with no robots to interfere. And those dispensers might have a use for those as well. So he did talk to Ulysses at some point. Day 4, still continuing research, found a way to deactivate collar after some failures, just a few headless ghouls. It's been hard to go fishing in the camp without one of them trying to run the gate and their heads exploding. Damn collars, twitchy. So he just about had it figured out. And Day 4 addendum. While setting up the radios to monitor Dome and robots, thought I saw a glint. Scope. From the building on the other side of the compound. Should check it out, make sure I'm not being watched. Might be that courier. Still, he would have come straight up rather than hiding. Instinct says it's somebody else. And it was Christine. All right, let's check the camp itself. I know from the Skills Dash series that there's a skill book recipe in there, but there might be other stuff too. And unlike Courier Max, who ran in and got mauled because he was avoiding XP, I read Elijah's note. If I'm right, we won't take any damage or use any ammo. Still no red on the map, but I bet as soon as we go in... Yep, there they are. And if they follow me... Come on, over here. Much easier. Any more? No? Now, do they have anything other than jumpsuits? 5.56 ammo. Doesn't seem like something you'd want a prisoner of war to have. Pre-war money. Bobby pins. Yeah, these guys were planning a jailbreak. And yet, the ones who only had a bone saw and an ashtray were the ones who actually made it out. Here's the skill book recipe, survival. Maybe if they combined their efforts, they would have all stood a chance. I think the only thing left between here and X13 is the Western Train Tunnel, and it seems like following the tracks might be the best way to find that. I'm assuming we can get onto the bridge around here. Looks like it. Good. Some crates down there. We'll check that out on the way back. Get around this boxcar. I like the fake city skyline area. I don't think there's actually anything there, but it looks cool. And indeed, here's the tunnel right up ahead. Is it late afternoon already? Holy crap. Anybody around? No? Yes. Sentry bots. Presumably the brain sent more to secure the camp after Elijah escaped. Well, no need to provoke them if they don't see me. Get out the sonic emitter. I think it's only robots in here, but I didn't go past the first room in the Skills Dash series, so I'm not 100% sure about that. Yep, Protectron. There's a skill book recipe in this room, which is why Courier Max came here. Somewhere. I thought it was on the shelf. Ammo. No, right there on the floor. Unarmed, which is one of the ones that Courier Jeff actually needs. But today we are going past the first room. Okay, there is nothing between me and him that the sonic wave could be hitting first. All right. We were hitting him. His health bar just wasn't showing up on the HUD for some reason. Another Protectron.
Engaging hostile target.
The Custodian. Unique boss. Not anymore. Primer and powder pack. Please tell me that has rifle powder in it. Primers. More primers. More primers. Primers for all the ammo types, apparently. Pistol powder. Rifle powder, yes! Now I can reload some 308.
Hostile target detected. Law-abiding citizens, please leave the area.
And here we have an upgrade for the Central Intelligence that lets it sell another layer mod. Might have to buy those at some point. I'm not sure if Elijah's unique layer is better than a standard one with all the mods installed or not, but we shall see. That's the road from the dome to X13. Don't think we can actually see the lab from here. Can see some lights, but not the entrance. So let's get back to the dome. Don't know if those sentry bots are still around, but if we stay on the other side of the boxcars, they probably won't bother us. A little bit of lag. Assuming there's nothing hostile on the right. Doesn't look like it. Find a place to drop down without going back toward the internment camp. Well, there's something friendly over there. Probably Night Stalkers. Nothing much in that area, so yeah. I'd say the 11 o'clock to 9 o'clock wedge is cleared. That's the building where we tested the Cyberdog gun on some lobotomites. And it looks like the lobotomites have respawned. Great. And it looks like that building has a door and a second floor. Might have to check that out on the way back. And yeah, there's the walkway that led down from the Industrial Plaza to Signal Hills, so from here east we've definitely explored pretty thoroughly. Looks like there are a few random lockers scattered around, but I want to be thorough, but I don't need to open every container in the DLC. And that would 100% be a fatal drop, so we need to find a place to get down. More lag. That still looks too high, even if we jump to the catwalk. Some of the pipes are a little bit higher, right? Not really. How about over here? No. If anything, that's worse. Well, there's Signal Hills. Don't want to walk all the way down there. Somewhere around those pipes is where we cut north on the way from the Securitron plant to the Magnetohydraulics complex. Man, the frame rate has gone to complete ass. I can't even time my jumps right because of the lag. I need to get someplace I can save and restart the game. Oh, man. I was just trying to jump on the rail to see how far down this pipe was. It's a damn good thing the answer wasn't too far. If there are any lobotomites around, I don't care. That is not a real door. Containers. I'm really pushing my luck for a handful of ammo. Just get inside. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to see things in the video that were easy to see when I was playing, and sometimes the other way around. But there's X12, we're almost home. But you could have the slowest internet in the world and see that. It's dropping to like 5 frames a second sometimes. But we're there. Upgrade holotape received. Upgrading secondary materials mulching functionality. Pencils and clipboards are processed into lead, spare parts, and duct tape. Which is funny because, of course, pencils don't contain lead, they contain graphite. And carbon bullets would be too light to have any range, but depending on how the carbon atoms were arranged, they might have serious penetrating power up close and personal. Or maybe pencils in the Fallout universe really do contain lead, I don't know. Anyway.
Greetings, citizen. Ready to receive seditious materials.
I have some seditious materials right here. Couple of clipboards.
Fantastic, citizen. Just input your quantity of seditious material on my interface, and in no time at all, I'll have you a beautiful, clean book. Won't that keep you happy and docile, citizen?
Process clipboards. Duct tape. Scrap metal. But no lead, so that does only come from pencils. No worries, there was already some lead in here when we arrived. In fact, there was everything we needed except rifle powder, so we should be golden. Reload some 308. Can we only make it in batches of 5? That's going to be a hassle. Well, go ahead. No, apparently we only had enough to make 5. 85 lead made 5 bullets. Maybe this is why I never bother reloading. I still have plenty of everything else. Well, pencils are now the most valuable item in the game. They weigh 0 and the book chute can convert them to lead. But we have over 60 rounds now, so that'll keep us going for a while.
Well, hello there. Can I get you a drink?
I just came over to fill some of these empty bottles.
I can do that. They've been thoroughly washed, haven't they?
Fill empty bottles. 5 bottles removed. 5 water added. 1 for 1. Good.
The commies have eyes everywhere, citizen. And that means they're not just commies. They're peeping Toms.
I also installed the central intelligence upgrades and looked at the lair mods it can sell now. One is a beam splitter that turns it into a laser shotgun, which would give a higher DPS than Elijah's custom lair if you were close enough for all the beams to hit, but that's not really my style. And the other one is a recharger module that regenerates ammo over time, which, if the ammo situation gets really dire, I might consider, but it's expensive, so I'd rather not if I don't have to. Anyway, now we can resume our clockwise exploration of the crater from the Cuckoo's Nest. There were a bunch of lobotomites here during the Skills Dash series, but I don't know if they spawned here or if they followed me around the hill because I was just running from everything. Something's attacking me. Trauma harness. I don't have a weapon equipped. Off to a good start. And a sentry bot. RY589 Ultimo bot. Unique sentry bot boss. Yeah, the opera singer sample definitely does better against tougher robots than Revelation did. At a lair. Odd, but I'll take it. And here's why they have an artillery range, even though that seems kind of low-tech by their standards. They were testing Saturnite artillery shells. Anyway, there's a skillbook recipe over in the command center. There's a blue Old World flag stencil. They don't stand out like the red ones unless the light's just right. But as you might expect, they mean the opposite, a place Ulysses found useful and was relatively safe. We technically don't know it was Ulysses, but since we heard the tape where Christine said he wore an Old World flag on his back, it seems like a good bet. The skillbook recipe is at the perfect height so your Pip-Boy light doesn't shine on it unless you jump, so it's hard to see. And it's explosives, which is one of the 3 Courier Jeff actually needs. And finally, up on this platform, there's a console that lets you fire the artillery. So we'll do that. It doesn't have any effect you can see here, so you might think it's just a fun thing to do, but it actually creates a crater back in the Boomtown target zone that exposes a container with a skillbook recipe. That's right beside X8, so we'll check it out when we go back there to finish Borous and Klein's missions. Ow. Okay, firing the artillery does have an effect here. It draws attention to the area. I think it was lobotomites in the Skills Dash series, but Courier Max was much lower level than Courier Jeff, so we get trauma harnesses. But hey, he had a plasma caster. I'll be having that. I shot it out of his hands, so it'll be broken, but we can get it fixed back at the sink. These are a callback to Fallout 1 and 2, where they were one of the best late-game weapons. And the same is true in New Vegas. Somebody's still alive. Sentry bot. No, that's the one I already killed. There it is. Another trauma harness. There's the opera singer effect. If the hit that kills them is a crit, they explode, like the Bloody Mess perk. Lobotomites. That's a job for the marksman carbine. Blew the sneak attack because I wasn't sneaking. Great. Hello. They have melee weapons, and I have plenty of room to maneuver, so this shouldn't be as scary as the cuckoo's nest. No problem. Just loot them from the other side. And we level up from that. Another one for which I am prepared. Put 8 points in melee weapons and 9 points in unarmed to keep them even. And for the perk, since I took a point of endurance at the last perk level, that should have unlocked... There it is. Implant GRX, non-addictive subdermal turbo injector, which gives you a brief burst of bullet time. Sadly, the cyborg perk from Fallout 3 doesn't exist in New Vegas, but I think I've fully embraced it in spirit, at least. And I don't know for sure, but I think the name might be a reference to the old Speed Racer anime. The GRX was a car that was so fast you had to take a special drug to enhance your reflexes to be able to drive it. Anyway, let's finish looting. I think this is the Saturnite Alloy Research Facility, conveniently located next to the artillery launch site. Or the other way around, I guess. They probably put the launch site close to where they were making Saturnite, so they didn't have to haul the shells as far. Or I could be completely wrong. Not going to get a map marker? Apparently not. Something else on the compass over there. And there's X13, so we're getting close to filling in the whole map. Well, let's go in. Yes, Saturnite Alloy Research. Robots.
Oh, yes! Let's all beat up on the road! And who gets to clean up all this
Be better to use the sonic emitter for this.
blood? Me, that's who.
I'm out of flamer range. Too bad for you. Guess that's the front door. Yes, and now we have the map marker. Good. Now let's check upstairs. Looks like a toolbox on top of that pod. Can't resist urge to climb. Some meds. Totally worth it. And here on the other side of the catwalk, it looks like they built the foundry right beside the site where they were mining whatever ore is the secret ingredient in Saturnite. Force field to keep people out of the secret sauce room. Not a problem. More handies. Sparks, a unique Mr. Handy Boss. Also not a problem. Looks like they were directly tapping a vein of lava that was suspiciously close to the surface. Very cool. I saw a filing cabinet down here. Yes. And a dead worker. I wouldn't mind having that construction hat. Is that pick real? No. Oh. Well, I don't want it that bad. Despite the fact that it's not melting, that looks like a death trap. Guess I won't be having a construction hat. More Saturnite ingots. Holotape. That's the upgrade for light switch 2. By the way, when I was talking about the light switches last week, my intelligence is 10, so the smart lights won't do anything for me, but my charisma is nowhere near maxed, so the mood lights will. But, overestimating my own charisma is just role-playing. Yeah, that's the ticket. Cool. The alloy facility exterior lines up with the interior. There's the foundry entrance where we came in, the office where we came out, and the catwalk back into the mountain where they're mining. You don't always have that with buildings in Fallout. I don't know if there's any in-game explanation of these hexagonal towers that look like a city skyline from a distance. Lobotomites. Can't get through an episode without an upskirt. I think I read once that they were a failed experiment in modular construction or material science or something like that. It looks like we're pretty close to the perimeter fence here. And here we have Z38. Lightwave dynamics research. There's a skill book recipe in here, so I remember it pretty well from the Skills Dash series. This is where they developed hologram technology, which will probably freak Courier Jeff out a little bit after his experience with them in the Sierra Madre, but the ones here aren't weaponized to be bouncers or security guards, so this place is completely safe. And there's another compass marker over there, but first things first. Are you a good hologram or a bad hologram? You're a nice hologram. Good. Over here we have a reference photo of Vera Keyes, which makes sense because they made the hologram of her, too. Take a drink of water. And the skill book recipe is right over here. Energy weapons. This is one of the harder ones to find. I think I need a drink of water in real life. Some of them are right out in the open, but a few you really have to search. The first entry just confirms what we already knew. Sinclair subsidized the hologram research, and weaponizing them was his request. Some of the researchers weren't very happy about it, but unlike a lot of the experiments the Big Mountain staff expressed ethical misgivings about, it just doesn't seem unreasonable to me that he would have wanted his security guards to be armed. This one says his attitude toward the Vera hologram changed at some point, presumably when he found out she was conspiring with Dean to rob the casino. Now over here we have a Valent, excuse me? I wasn't going to take it. I have a half dozen of them. I just wanted to show you what it was. The charges on my new implant reset, so time passed. Stun field, I guess. At least it didn't turn the holograms hostile. Oh good! Touch it again, dumbass! Now my dehydration went up. Fine. Might as well take it since I already set off the security system. Twice. Here we have Z43. Innovative toxins plant. Now that sounds like something the employees would have been justified in questioning. Now where's the entrance? Let's see if we can get on the roof of the lobby. That's interesting. And I can't get back out. Well, this is awkward. I guess we're going to have to fast travel out. If there are any enemies nearby, we're kind of screwed. Good. Okay, I think we'll just go in the front door. Another plasma caster. Wonder if they started spawning because we're over level 45 now. Might be. Repair that with the broken one. DPS 224. I only have 19 microfusion cells, but you know what? Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Okay, kids, what don't we say when we're using a chemistry set? We don't say, I might as well use this since we'll never be back. And we also explore thoroughly so we don't have to come back. Okay, so the employees were more disturbed that they were sending prototype hazmat suits to the Sierra Madre than they were about the toxin leak that made them necessary in the first place, which seems kind of backwards, even if they thought it was just a hazardous refrigerant and not a chemical warfare agent. There's the code to unlock the pod at the hazmat testing ground if you don't have the sonic emitter upgrade to disable the force field. And my radiation level just increased. The drawback of being thorough in here. But after I made the "I'll never be back" joke, there's no way I was leaving without finding it. I can get a rad scrub from the auto dock, but I'm going to take some rad away just so I don't have any debuffs if we run into more enemies. We're close. There it is. X66 Hexcrete Archipelago. Night Stalkers. And I haven't seen any doors or secrets you can get to by platforming, so as far as I can tell, this is one of the few locations in Old World Blues where there's a map marker just for the sake of having a fast travel point. And here we finally have X13. I'm not going in yet, but we might as well tag it so it's easy to come back when we're ready. Oh, cool. It's official. We visited every location in Big Mountain and even got a few XP for our trouble. Now we can head back to the radar fence and get a quick teleport back to the sink. I already know the answer, but Courier Jeff would certainly try. If you run as fast as you can get beyond their range before they teleport you. And the answer is, no you can't. Damn it! I should have tried it with the GRX implant. Oh well, next time. And there's another challenge complete. Get snagged by the radar fence more than once. And of course he wouldn't have just left, he'd have come back for Kakata, but it's information he needed to know. Upgrade holotape received.
You've been seeing the other light switch, haven't you? Am I not enough for you anymore?
You've seen Kakata with a biological research station, right? We don't do the monogamy thing where we're from. Anyway, can you turn those lights on for me?
You bet I can. I bet that's more than that other tramp can do, huh?
And in fact, it is. As I said, unlike Light Switch 1's smart lights, the mood lights actually do provide a useful buff because Courier Jeff's charisma is only like 6, which isn't going to make Light Switch 1 happy, but what can you do? I still like the default lighting better. Okay, so I was thinking about the artillery target zone, and if I wait to check it out when we go back to X8, there's a good chance I'll forget. And while you've probably grown accustomed to these videos starting off with, here are some things I forgot in the last episode, we'll be pretty close to the end of the DLC at that point, and there might not be another episode until I start Lonesome Road. So I'm going to go get that book recipe right now. I'm not sure which one of these is the new crater. That one, I think. Yes. The skill book and another tri-radii oscillator. I have plenty of the single halo kind, but this is only the second one of these we found, I think. Unfortunately, we can't fast travel out of here because there are enemies nearby. You know what? Klein's quest says we have to go to X13 next because we need the key to lift the lockdown, but the quest marker for Borous loyalty mission is on X8. Now, if we go in and poke around, it'll probably update and send us to X13 too, but while we're literally right next door, there's no reason not to go check. Well, it let me select the residential test, and the objective updated. The door's not locked, and that's where the quest marker's pointing. Let's give it a go.
Now, let the intruder have the sonic emitter schematics. Klein wants it, all right, boy? Let the intruder dig it up wherever you buried it.
Multiple quest markers. That means the objective for both quests is the same. The schematic is buried in one of Gabe's digging spots, and it's randomized so you can't just go straight to the right one if you've done it before. Just make sure, yeah, the right quest is still active. So why was Klein's quest sending us to X13? The key that's there must be for the kennel, but we didn't have to go into the kennel to do this. Well, whatever. The good news is it's dark in here, so sneaking around Gabe to search the digging spots shouldn't be too much trouble. The bad news is, once you find the schematic, Mobius sends in Roboscorpions to stop you, just like he did at X2. They're hostile to everything, like how they got into it with the lobotomites, so if they don't spot us, they'll attack Gabe. And they'll kill him pretty quick, but I'd like to keep him alive if at all possible. I know it's possible, but I don't think I've ever done it. Okay, here's the plan. Once we find the right digging spot, I'll close it without taking the schematic and go out of sneak mode. Then I'll reopen it and take the schematic, and when the Roboscorpions spawn, hopefully they'll go for us and not Gabe. I have a ton of rebound, so I'll use as much of that as I need to keep regenerating action points so I can kill all the scorpions in vats. Gabe will still be hostile, but I'll just spam stim packs to get the hell away from him and rush the exit. And there's the sample we need. Okay, deep breath.
Gabe, down, boy. Stop so.
You recovered the sonic emitter schematic, Scorpion. Or was it the frequency? No matter. It'll broadcast your screams as my Roboscorpions destroy you.
One hit point left. I'll finish it off and then take some rebound. Fuck! That was me. I killed Gabe.
Stop that! You'll damage the hull! His Cyberdog atomic core! Stop that! You'll damage the hull! An exceedingly imprecise... You won't escape me! Critical failure in... 10! Borous!
How the hell did you install an atomic core? It'll blow when we reach 1, right?
9. All will be fine.
7. Yes, 7. 6. Halfway to destruction. Measured in clicks.
5 by 5. Someone's coming in line. 4, as in forbidden. Do you hear me, think tank? It is I, Mobius, hacking your frequinosity. Mobius? 3, as in we. As in we are in trouble. That didn't rhyme.
2, as in too late.
And 1, as in Mobius hacking on. Go, my minion! Sting them in the name of all that is Mobius!
That countdown is the only instance I can think of in the Fallout 3 New Vegas generation of games where an event keeps going even when you're in a menu. Usually everything freezes if you're in the Pip-Boy or looting a container or whatever.
Ow!
The lobotomite has retrieved 2, count them, 2 of the 3 technologies.
You're no match for if you think braving the cyber dogs of X8 makes you brave, intruder, it is no use. All cyber dogs are under my command, and they will bite you.
That's awesome. The Scorpions are hostile to everything, so the Night Stalkers ran over and helped. I'd hack the intercom system and gloat about organic life being indomitable, except I'm a cyborg myself, so yeah, no deep lessons to be learned from this encounter. But I will say thank you to my cute little snake puppies. Okay, apparently I was confused. I thought X8 data retrieval test was Klein's mission to get the schematic, but that was actually X8 High School Horror, which is now complete. And I'm still a little bit confused because the X8 data retrieval quest is still active, even though we've now done both stages of the institutional test and the residential test, so it has something to do with the kennels. The good news is we can finish a Brain's Best Friend before we get the last schematic Klein wants, just in case we get locked out of any dialogue once we have all 3.
The lobotomite! Has it come for hellos? You'll get no such satisfaction from me.
I don't blame you.
So, you put down Gabe. Thank you. A scamp, but really, his highly augmented combat programming could have proved meddlesome. In any event, thank you for putting him down. One less test subject to catalog and sort. Clearly a failure of Doggy's cybo-engineering.
I knew he didn't actually take it that hard because, like I say, I've never managed to save Gabe, but I don't think I've ever gotten the bowl before I did X8. Is this his bowl?
What? Why, yes. It is. I used to leave it outside his doghouse, chock full of chems, before the cybernetic modifications, of course. And no matter how chemmed the food, he would always eat it, and his tail would wag, even while You know, I'm having the most perplexing feeling squiggling through my biogel. I can't quite pin it down.
A special option if you have the Animal Friend perk. It seems to me like it belonged to a friend of yours.
Why, yes. Gabe. No matter how awful my day had been, he was always waiting there. How odd. My gel is decoagulating. And when I would talk to him about Betsy, and how Marcus would beat on me and call me Smarty's sissy pants, he'd just sit there, head on my knee, and... If you don't mind, I'll take that bowl. Just need to remove it. Put it away, somewhere out of radar range. For some reason, its similarity to the crater shape of Big Mountain is starting to fill up all available cognitive spaces. That, combined with my own overwhelming feeling of having done something terrible, the two were hitting me with unexpected force.
Sounds to me like you hurt someone who loved you very much.
As odd as it is, I believe that is the conclusion. And I wonder why it didn't hit me before, until I saw that memory in your hands. This sensation is unpleasant. I don't care for it. I don't care for this place either. And I feel as if we've forgotten something. Still, it is no matter. Crush the feeling down. Crush it down. Push it into the loop. Yes, forgotten. Almost. Yes? I do not need to remember anymore. Not today.
I'm not gonna lie, that kind of hit me right in the feels. Goodbye.
Until next time, then. Provided there is a next time. For any of us.
Yeah, I actually missed it up a little bit there. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a day and go have a good cry under my mood lights. Like, leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.